Hello and welcome back for Runway Runaway Part 2,
Whoop
where
whoop.
Crane, our decker, is about to whoop whoop into a host, it seems. Slike
Yes.
is heading on over to get some eyes on the place, and everybody else is hanging out, getting some planning on. The team has been hired to kidnap, or I'm sorry, recruit one Catherine E. Tiltetson. She is a model. She's apparently a total bitch, depending upon who you ask.
I'm sorry, knows the trend with a couple of your female characters.
I mean, she
Uh,
probably is.
she's an NPC. She's not one of my characters, and
She's also a model being a bitch comes with the territory.
right, that's what happens when you're a fancy model.
True.
Okay.
But
So
we're waiting on Crane to do her thing.
okay, since I'm hacking the host,
Hackify,
Hackify. I'm
Hackify.
going completely AR at this point in time, so 17
Sure.
plus.
Makes me
So
sad that I can't do physical damage to you.
Mhm.
Oof.
I keep 9. I keep a total of 10.
All right, that's unfortunate.
Oh,
Hey, you made it look easy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you officially have a mark on there?
Okay, so that's enough to get in. I'm going to do a data search for the what's it called? The itinerary for Miss Catherine.
That's good
So-
because I'm pretty sure that last name I should not have stuck with.
Yeah.
Tillotson?
Sure.
Yeah, that'll be one hell of a thing. So
Go ahead and give it a quick roll. This will take you just a couple of quick minutes to.
yeah, I'm going to let the agent go in. I'll be actively defending.
Sure. It'll take a minute or so to do a bit of searching. There is no blatant itinerary that is openly kind of displayed in here. There is a notation of this weekend we are happy to announce the presentation of blah 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 fashion show blah 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 in association with Horizon blah 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 featuring special models of Evo blah 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 blah. Just kind of going on, but in actual itinerary they don't give the when the models are showing up, what rooms they are staying in, and that kind of thing. They do have some of the bigger models' names there as like an advertisement thing, like "Woo, we have Catherine E. Bitch," and a couple of other names that, if you really want, I will push my generate name button. But
No, the one we're really particular with is Catherine E. Bitch. So
excellent.
but not getting information. So I just say out loud to everybody that I don't have the information. So I either have to go hack Horizon or something else to look
Well,
for it, guys.
there's not readily available information. It would be in one of the more secure sections of the host, just like the security section or maybe the booking and such.
Okay.
Not exactly open laying around because, you know.
So I'm going to roll corporate policies to see how they're going to hold us this information in order to make all that happen.
Sure.
Okay.
Let's see some D's.
Corporate policies. I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not a glitch. Is that a glitch? I don't think it's a glitch.
It's more than
It's
half.
more than half.
It is 7
Okay,
on 13.
I spend an edge to not glitch.
Okay.
So
In a situation where two corps are co-oping on something, they will probably have a, like, air quotes, neutral third party, in which case this is probably the hotel itself having it. The information is probably in a file folder that requires a little bit more than just a singular mark to get into. Might be through the security, might be through a human resources area where it'll have the access to the people who are the employees, which would then give you access to the people who are like housekeeping. That might have which people are staying in which room because they would have certain rights and availabilities to them based on their their standing within the show, because obviously the nicer, more important people are going to have nicer rooms and a larger expense budget than the makeup and hair people, who are just going to have, 2 or 3 of them to a room and a much lower room service budget, which would all be under human resources. Security will have some of the information about personal security details that may come with it, and then just other various day-to-day aspects of the hotel that are going on, which are all not exactly in the open area of the host for people to just kind of look at.
Okay, I'm going to get more marks in to find that information then.
Sure. Hopefully I can roll more than 0 hits this time.
No, don't.
7.
Oh.
I'll stick with that.
Yeah, no, that's probably plenty.
It's probably.
Alright, so you have,
Worker.
which area were you
that.
trying to hack?
I was probably going to hack the security information, one where I know. Probably the first one will be the biggest one, where that information will be located at.
Okay, so you're gonna,
So,
you will have a second mark on the little security door that is kind of, the host itself is kind of set up like a lobby for a hotel, with a patrol ace is kind of sitting behind the little desk in the uniform of the Park Plaza. It is, scanning back and forth as there are other personas going about their business, checking in reservations and that kind of stuff.
Oh.
It's not nearly as occupied as one would think for a hotel host, but when most of your space is taken up for an event that hasn't started yet, it makes sense that there's not a lot of activity. In the back, there are a couple of employees-only doors with subtitles of security, human resources, reservations, that kind of thing. And you know,
so
have
I'm going to do one more mark then to get the full trifecta.
Sure.
And running silent at this point. So 2, that's fine. That just means I'm back up again. To 18. I stay.
Okay.
No, don't hit.
No hit, no. So it gets a mark.
Yep.
So I reboot my deck real quick.
Sure.
So, and I have to go back and do it again. So,
Damn
since
my
I'm
dice.
since I'm AR, I can just do that real quick, like real
Yep.
quick.
Hit your
And I
power
just-
button.
Yeah, I'm just going to do the whole thing again. So, I'm going to go for 3 marks this time. So I'm going to do my agent for support first, going silent.
Sure.
So here's my agent with him, which is now 2. Crap. Is it minus 10?
It is minus 10 unless you have the crazy quality that only makes it negative 6.
Okay, so 10. Let's see. I got 10, 17 plus. I'm going to go. So 17 minus 7 will be 11. So 11. Damn.
All right.
Nice.
Okay, you have quite easily handled this host, shown it is who's boss.
Okay. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look for that information where her itinerary's at and get all of that.
In the security area?
Yes.
All right, if you want to do a quick data search just to see how quickly that can go.
Mm-hmm. So now I know I have 4. That's just the agent doing it, and I'm being active on protection.
Okay.
Mhm.
So it'll take a couple of minutes to go ahead and do a quick search. Did anybody else have anything they want to do in the couple minutes? I know Syke was driving over. Probably could.
I'm screenshotting at that, by the way.
What, you're
He's
11d6
driving
for
over
11
to-
hits
Yeah.
to the hotel to get some actual eyes on the place?
I would go. Yes.
Okay, so we have
I can go
Stitchy
with
and
him or separately. It doesn't matter.
Well, Sekido's got a spare seat in the car, so you could roll with her.
I'll roll with her.
Sure. You guys will pull up. It is a nice section of town, as one would expect from a rated area. You will see that there are cameras all over a bunch of the the buildings for your protection, of course. Everybody here seems nicely dressed, nicer cars, that kind of thing. Yeah, you guys can begin to roll perception or knowledge or whatever it is you really want to throw down here.
I will, if you want roll perception now, I would like to roll it kind of periodically as well, depending on when we walk in the different rooms or if we go in at all.
Sure. If you would throw some.
So,
Go ahead.
sorry, what Psychedel is doing is she's going to use her fly spies and just kind of have them
There you go.
fly around outdoors, indoors, wherever they can get, and see what she can see.
Sure. If you can go
Car's
ahead and
gonna be-
roll their perception test.
The car's going to be parked probably somewhere inconspicuous, and it's just going to look like a standard delivery vehicle of some kind.
Sure. So Stygian, were you looking for anything in particular while Psych rolls her?
Outside of the hotel, not particularly, especially since didn't we get where is it on here? We kind of got like a layout of the hotel in general.
You didn't actually get a map of the
Not yet.
hotel.
Well,
Thought we
that
did
was-
because
well,
it's.
I was hoping for the data packet for what's his name to do it, but yeah, oh well.
Which he never
plus
called up.
it's-
Mhm.
Oh, it didn't come yet. I thought we
He
got
never-
something here.
he
There's
never
no
called up.
infiltration or extraction. Here it is. Has very little spots for infiltration via exiting staff. Or did you mean the actual place the show is taken in, not the hotel itself?
I'm sorry, can you run that by me one more time?
All right, so it
Like-
says fashion show has very little, if any, spots for infiltrating via exiting staff. I assume that meant the hotel. Did that just mean the room where it was taking place?
So a lot of the information that you've gotten on the actual fashion show is that they roll with a lot of the same staff as they go from place to place. So if you were to try and infiltrate, it would be
So they know. Okay, so they know everybody. Got you.
They know
All right, never mind.
at least the models will know their personal attendant staff very well.
Sure. Let's go with my 5. Let's notice if, I mean, it probably does, but how well is, the fucking doorman dressed? How nice does the hotel look? Are people just walking in and out? Do they actually have like a very structured valet system? How many cameras on the outside? Does it look like there's any on the inside? Can I actually get in?
So they're not like stopping and scanning people at the door. There is a muscular elven man who is performing the doorman duties with his little cap. There's a little part where taxis come up occasionally and either pick up or drop off folks of moderate to nice dress. It's
Would you say it looks like they are just relying on the zone security and not have a double up of their own?
from the outside, it looks like they are dealing with the zone security, not
Okay.
their internal security. But
Have like the,
at the same time, they're not going to have trolls standing around with riot shields and assault
Of course.
rifles.
no, of course.
You don't see a lot of cameras outside, but you do see a lot of ornamentation. There is some very nice, shrubs with a little fountain there where you would probably put a camera there. There's
Sure.
some, there's like a big AR tapestry type thing of presenting this weekend the fashion show with a fancy name for it. It doesn't seem like there is a huge amount of in and out ground traffic, but given as you know that this place is mostly booked up by a singular event which hasn't really landed and begun to kick off yet, you
Okay.
don't see anything out there. With your fly spy perception, as you have a fly's eye view, is there anything that you are specifically looking for? As psychic is, oh, there you go.
Yeah. Let me think. Probably stuff like. Actually, forgot to think about that. Entry points, exit points.
There is a nice canopied walkway that comes right out to where the taxis come up, where your doorman is standing. It has large double doors and a spinny cylindrical door that is the main entrance and exits on this side of things.
Right.
On the other side around the block, there is a similar setup, but that's on a not main street. Like this is a big, busy street. The one on the other side isn't nearly as busy. Chances are, if you had to guess, they would probably come in on the not main street because there's going to be a lot quicker to get a lot of people in and out without clogging up traffic.
Yeah.
As my cat literally leaps upon me and claws me.
Hello, human. I love you, Stab.
Right? He probably wants some kind of attention, food, or basic necessities of life. So let me look into that real quick.
Yeah. So Psychedel's also going to look for things like she's going to see what she can hear on the Fly Spy's audio sensors. It may be related to the person or the event that they're trying to make problems for, basically. Kind of almost a passive thing. She's just seeing what comes out of the churn more than looking for anything in specific.
You could. How many of those little guys do you have, too?
I've got 2 at the moment.
2. Okay. I was going to say, if you had like several of them, I would almost suggest putting one on all of the entrances. That way, if she happens to, slip by us some way we hadn't noticed, we'd still be able to find her with those and follow her in.
I do have a couple of Noisquitos, and I think that I can make them sort of sneaky eyes.
Just enough to be able to have it like follow her and not get noticed. That way we'd be able to keep tabs on where she is, especially if we can't get any kind of mark on her comm link because it's part of the dreaded Horizon host.
Right.
I do love blowing up some Noisquitos, just saying. But you're not actually able to get the conversation that you are able to hear from your sensors is mostly drowned out by the sounds of vehicles moving about and doing their things, and a lot of "hello, welcome to the Park Plaza Hotel. May I take your bags?" that kind of thing. The people on the outside aren't exactly your small talk makers, as it were.
Okay.
Crane, your agent will come back to you with a little bit of information. She has, well, it, I guess, has a name for, let me find a good name for, there's a good name.
Bitch pants.
Eric C. Sullivan is the hotel security chief. He is basically the person that all of this stuff is routed through. He is in charge of the cooperation between the hotel and the traveling security. He's the one that is managing that stuff.
So what I'm hearing is I need to hack his comm link to get the information.
Well, you have access to some of the other information, but a lot of it is stuff that I'm not going to put up 3 paragraphs worth of information.
That's well. The whole point is does he have the itinerary and the information for her and for all the models inside there? Because if he is, I'm just going to hack his comm and get all that information.
So you're able to get a generic overview itinerary from in the security section. It's mostly event will start at 4 o'clock Friday and Saturday night and persist through to 10 o'clock p.m. During the day, the models are not supposed to leave the hotel and are to be cared for and pampered to the utmost of the Park Plaza's capabilities. They aren't exactly like prisoners, but it's one of those things of, do you want to go get a whole bunch of Seattle stink on you when you have to go and be fabulous? The models themselves are looking at probably 4 hours or so of makeup and fashion prior to the show itself. Most models don't have their own specific group of support staff. Catherine does because she's a bitch.
Mhm.
Yes.
and a couple of the other high-profile ones uh, have some of their own personal things, more so on the Evo side for any of the changelings that have different adaptations that may require specific care. We'll call it. Will be politically correct.
Mhm.
And he is in charge of supplementary security or assistance staff that they may need to get from Seattle. He's the guy that does not necessarily their background checks, but he is the person that is um, responsible for bringing in local talent. We'll call it.
Okay. Oh, I see it now. Yeah. Okay. Um. So I need to copy that information and give it to everybody.
Sure.
So
Mm-hmm.
so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to know is if there's a data bomb, because I think if I remember correctly, is data bomb then decrypt if needed.
So as you've already looked at the information, you don't need to decrypt it, and if there was a data
Okay.
bomb, it would have probably exploded. The important thing is I don't know either which the proper order is, but your character does.
Right. I
Um,
was just trying to find the file in the first place.
You
That's what I
did
was
that.
doing.
Surprise.
So
no, that's okay. It
because
is.
that's the whole point was to find the file so I can either start searching into it. But yeah, whatever.
It's okay. You let me continue to just run on and give you all kinds of information for free.
Yeah. So I'm going to do an edit file and get the copy of that
Sure.
information anyway. So
Data
I
bomb
think it's
things next
computer
time.
plus logic on this one.
Something like
I
that.
want to DNI and say if as we learn information, it just keeps. It feels like extracting her from the hotel is getting worse and worse of an idea.
Yes. So, but I'm trying to find. So,
Oh,
sounds like
maybe
it sounds like we potentially can get her on the when she's out and about. But
maybe we
I'm
can
getting
snoop her
information
phone.
if I can find it.
The itinerary would definitely have a list of their comm links, so that when they call to harass um, the hotel for room service or other obscure things that they are often wont to
I'm
do.
editing that.
Um,
So 9. Go ahead. I got 6 successes in copying the file.
all right, you have a copy of the file.
Okay. I say that I just take out my cell phone because I'm in AR and I just say to everybody real quick. Any other information I should look for before I leave this host?
Anything you can get on a high, or well, no, this is just the hotel host, right?
Yes.
I got nothing.
I got her, making sure you said this. I got her comm link, correct?
You have the comm codes that most of them will be using throughout their stay. You will also have their which rooms that they are assigned to. Which I guess I should write some of this stuff down for you guys.
Which I am saying to these people at this point in time. So a copy of this information will be sent to you as a data package. Yeah.
Room numbers.
Yes.
All of the services that would normally be used are contained in-house already, so it wouldn't help us to get things like an employee or a staff list or anything.
So you don't have they don't have a specific set of the hotel staff that they are working through. So it could really be like any of the hotel staff that answers any of their requests for any of their obnoxious things at any time of the day because they are fancy people.
So do you want me to put one of your names in there?
We could. Let me look at something real quick.
I've been inside this host less than 15 minutes. I'm just going about 15 minutes. I'm going to take a look at my OS score. So
at current, you're at 5.
okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can sit here for a little while longer. Then I'm just going to replace one of my. I'm going to replace my hack on the fly one for better for fly on the wall.
Sure.
If you want, we might. Would it be a bad idea to try and throw my cab license, my phony license, on there as one of the lists for their Driving services? No, that'd be something that Horizon be running on their host, not on this one, unless it's like the hotel available one, and that's not going to help us any because you couldn't hang out in there for 72 hours to divert any calls from them to me. Okay, is there a way you can make that work?
I'm using fly on the wall at this point in time, so it
Yes.
only is for like every 30 minutes instead of every 15.
Yeah, so we couldn't do it that way though. There's not a long-term solution for that because you'd have to hang out the whole time listening for her to say something, you know?
Yeah,
That wouldn't work.
but we know what she's doing from this point to this point because that's the itinerary. From after that point, we can possibly watch for her to get out of the area and see if we can just follow her that way.
Okay.
So at least that way we can do a snatch and grab on the way. We can do a black bag if we need to.
Right.
Yep.
So let's see. Stoner, you got anything? Psych, you have anything?
I got a couple mosquitoes hanging out over the main entrances in the front and back of the hotel, and I got my fly spies loitering around. I'm gonna try and see if I can get them indoors and park them somewhere useful.
Good luck. Stoner, got anything?
Nope.
You
Just waiting to get the information.
okay.
Got a question.
Go ahead.
Only because you mentioned you're trying to find a way to get the drones in the building. Can you crack a door open for him or something?
The door is opening and closing as people go in and out.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Kind of like, yeah.
And there's a revolving door, so you can just go through there.
Yeah,
Clearly, there is a revolving door.
I just have to, like I said, I can get him in. I just gotta not get seen and hit with a fly swatter.
Ha. Nice.
Okay. So if anything else, guys, I'm leaving the host.
Yeah, last call. Anything we want to add
Can't
in,
think of
change out?
anything.
Anything for the hotel?
I can't think of anything.
Nothing off the top of my head.
I'm sure
right.
I'll think of it as soon as he jacks out.
Yep.
Jacking out.
Awesome.
So,
You are free from the host.
Yep. Jacking out, resetting deck. So I purposely make sure I do that because I'm not allowed back into the rat nest anymore. So, ladies and germs, here's the data package. Click and information sent.
Woo.
You guys have
Alright, so-
a whole bunch of stuff.
I just look at Mason. So there's a possibility you might get over there and see.
My idea is to head over to the airport, see what I can pick up on that end. Maybe get a little bit of extra intel off someone that wasn't quite high end enough to get a limo service or something else, you know? I assume she's probably high end enough to be able to get a limo herself. I'm just kind of seeing if I can pick up any more intel.
Go ahead, man.
You know, quick that if you want.
I'll be right
Nothing
back. Go
against
ahead
a
and do
little
your thing,
human
guys.
intel.
Watch notes, search info.
So you guys, you're gonna drive over and try and be a cabbie then?
I'm a cab driver.
He
I'm
should,
just gonna
yes.
look for skinny, pretty ladies and see if I can give them a ride. I know that sounds terrible, but that's the job.
Does it look like they'll give you a good tip?
I'm not even worried about that. I'm actually hoping to pick up some of the models that are heading to that hotel.
Right.
So is anybody else going to do anything, or should we just scan button until he?
I mean, I'm good in terms of just this airport segment.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right.
Push it too far.
Mason, if you would go ahead and roll your edge real quick, and we'll see
I can do that.
see what you find.
Two.
2. So you're gonna be out there, I imagine, performing the ancient taxi ritual of waiting in line and moving slowly forward and forward until you
Yes.
You will see that there are a bunch of limos here, and right about 6:15 or so, after this is an airport, so planes are coming and going all the time. Um, you will see two big black suited, black sunglassed security guys come up. One of them is gonna, stop in front of the line of taxis and hold up his hand. The other one's gonna get on the other side and look around, and a bunch of limos are gonna kind of line up and come in. And then you will see some fantastic looking people, even in their downplayed street clothes, and begin to come up, and they will slowly get into the limos. There seems to be like five of them. And if there are other things you want to do while this is going on, you can go ahead and roll a perception test and tell me what you're looking for.
I'm gonna try and do a couple of things with that,
Sure.
actually, if I can.
You can do anything you like.
I do not have any kind of handy camera to keep good visual on these because ImageLink is not a camera, guys.
Hmm.
So I'm just gonna try and pay attention as best I can here. I'm gonna check her. I want to see if I look for her specifically. If she's in a group, I'm looking to see who she might be with and how they're reacting to each other is what I'm going for. I don't get to keep all of those.
That's good. I didn't think Mason was that smart.
Yeah, no, I only get 6. But I make it look really, really easy.
Yeah. So in the time that you spend sitting there with your trained eye of discreetly observing the females of the species,
I also have fashion sense, if that helps.
uh, it kind of does, I guess. You will notice that you do see her, and she is in there. She has a comm link on her arm and a little purse with a yappy dog in it. Looking fabulous. And then she gets into one of the limos. You will notice that nobody else gets into that limo with her. However, it is like the middle limo. Then a couple of other of the different models that are coming out around the same time are going to get into the different limos separately. Her limo isn't one of the big long stretch limos. It's one of the smaller ones.
It's a town car, okay.
Yeah, but it is still a fancy, glossy black thing. It has a nice corporate-suited driver. You'll notice that all 5 of the limos have the nice limo driver who look way more professional at their job than you do.
Bastards. All right, so she's got good security going, and she doesn't seem to have any friends. Well, that definitely confirms our bitch theory. So I can pass this information on to the team so far that she doesn't seem to have anything good over here. If she goes out, she doesn't go out with anybody from around here, it looks like. So I'm still gonna see what I can find out on this end, but
Sounds like we may need to do a hot extraction from the hotel.
unless we want to try and be one of those limo drivers, if we can find out where they're coming from, but I'm pretty sure they're Horizon issue from the looks I'm getting, or from the marks on them, right?
You will see that a couple of them have the little a little Horizon subsidiary pin neck thing on them, and the vehicles they are driving have a license plate that kind of gives you the idea of Horizon.
Yeah, I'm assuming even if I look through like my AR glasses, they've probably got like some kind of tag on them for it. You know, they're branded somewhere. So yeah, that's Horizon Corp Secure escorts. I can't necessarily fake that.
Well, the worst thing I can do is take a matrix perception and see what type of hosts are tied to. Let me see if I can actually do that.
Did you come with me? Because then you'd be like sitting with me in the cab. I don't have a smuggling compartment to hide you in.
No, but I can certainly take a look when she gets there because, you know,
You
I
could be a passenger.
I am next to the hotel because I need to be there. Noise is a bitch, and
That's
SeaTac's
right.
far away.
You need
That's
to get
right.
dropped off at the hotel. So. Or the airport.
So
Well, it's
I'm
it's, it's actually better for him to be there because that's where we know she's going eventually.
Right.
Yeah, you don't necessarily have to uh, drive on over there for it, but you can get it as they come by.
Mhm. I'm trying to remember whether or not that if I do a matrix perception on her comm link, that can I tell has been protected by the host or not?
I'm not 100% sure, but why not?
Yeah, I mean the whole point is that I'm not going to hack it off the bat. I just want to make sure it's saying, "Hey, what's it connected to?" Then I can make a decision on that approach. So I'm just going to do a standard matrix perception to see how that rolls. Okay.
Sure.
So 5, 10, 12. Okay. So for finding the stuff, 3 successes.
So the cabs themselves are indeed slaves to a Horizon host, except for one of them, which is slave to an Evo host.
Mhm. That's the one I probably want to look into because she's an Evo star.
She's a Horizon.
Oh, she's a derp. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the rating of the host of Horizon?
Many.
Yes. So there goes that idea.
I'm not 100% because this is an event sponsored by a subsidiary of Horizon, so I'm not 100% sure as I flick back open to the book.
I think Data Trail says like 9 or 10.
Yeah, so this is probably a 7 as a local corporate host.
Mm-hmm. I need a night off before I can hack this one, guys. I feel like I need at least one more break before doing it.
Okay.
So,
But do you think you could try, or do you think it's a bad idea?
well, out of character, I would like to have at least 2 edge before I do that. I use 3.
So you think you can do it, but you need some rest first. Gotcha.
Yeah. So, what do you guys feel like doing now at this approach?
My option after trolling for models here is to basically do the same thing around the hotel. I have, as a cabbie, the unfair advantage of being able to hang out in these locations and not appear conspicuous.
So you'll be
So,
happy to know that we haven't quite finished with your cabbying there. It was
Mm-hmm.
here comes the models perception test. Get a million hits as you undress them with your eyes.
it was not my intention, but possibly. Maybe a little.
But that's the way it seemed to have worked out for you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so if you guys have nothing else, we will let the clock continue to roll as you are sitting there and the staff begins to come out.
Yes.
Unless you had something else you want. Okay.
Yeah.
Mason, could you roll me one more edge test, and we'll
Sure.
see who you are lucky enough to get in your cab.
3 this time.
Um, so with 3 hits, you will notice as a bunch of other very clearly not as beautiful people, but at the same time well dressed people. They are the ones. They are actually carrying luggage. It seems more luggage than a single person would need for a short stay in Seattle. Um, 2 young women are going to come up to your cab, and they are going to. I guess since this is a Horizon sponsored thing, they would just flag you some kind of AR thing where you're just gonna. Uh,
Get out and help them with their luggage is what I'm gonna do.
that's a good start. But I'm sorry, my idea was that like
They're gonna flash their corp script.
yeah, there we go. Um, however it is that the corp would pay for the cab ride without giving you actual money, but like give you a turn this into the corp to get your corp script or something along those lines.
Right. The equivalent of the solid gold corporate card. Right.
Exactly.
Always a good thing to see. Tips are huge with those. So yeah, load them in the back of the cab there. Get them all set up and ask them where we're going.
It's like the Amex card. It's black, therefore you know you're rolling it.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's like here you go, and they'll tell you um we're with the fashion show, so if you could just take us to the hotel, and then off you guys will drive into the night, I assume, unless you want to just kidnap two people at random.
I'm not going to kidnap two people at random. I am going to. We can hand wave through it if you want, but I am going to try and talk to him about the
Sure.
fashion show and see what I can possibly.
Throw me some appropriate dice.
See, I think etiquette's going to be appropriate on that one, right?
And you could throw whatever you wish, and we will
Yeah.
see where it goes.
Yeah. What I'm trying to do here, because I believe this is the proper execution of this, is so you ladies are with a fashion show. Tell me about it. I really want to know about this and try and get some information out of them that way. See what I can, Oh, who's that? Really? Those kinds of things.
Yeah, beat obnoxious cabbie, sure.
Exactly. This is a thing.
Flash us. Winning smile.
Always with the huge smiles. Three dice.
Are you comfortable with that level of success?
No. I was until you said something though.
Hey, I'm just saying.
You gotta be.
Yeah,
you
I
did that
got it.
wrong. You
I
got a
did.
5 in there.
I did. So
God.
Wow.
Oh, something is wrong with
I did that all wrong actually. I got 6
should be a
total there.
4.
My bad.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Oh wow, you suck. Do you still
I
wish to
do
spend
like
that
that.
edge?
Well, less than 6, or greater than 6.
2, 3, 4. Do you still want to spend that edge for the extra
Oh
hits, or
yeah,
do you
no,
want? Okay,
that's fine.
just making sure since we miscounted on the first go.
Appreciate that, but yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah, no, just trying to give you more failures than you wanted. So they will continue to make small talk. You are obviously stuck in a bit of traffic because a convoy just rolled out and is all heading in the same direction. So that's going to cause a little bit of a complication, we'll call it.
Right.
At the very least, a bunch of gawkers are going to watch the line of beautiful people come out from the hotel and in the cars and stuff. You get how many hits? 6 hits?
Total, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay. Which 3 pieces of information would you like to gain from them?
I would like to know more about who it is they're working for. Like they're obviously attendants for different things, who it is they're working for in terms of like who do you tend to.
Sure. One of them will actually be Amy Jackson. The other is a additional makeup person who let
Okay.
me get you a name for real quick, thanks to my handy dandy name generator.
Push button, receive name.
Yeah,
And
no,
great.
it's a little creepy with how much information it gives out. Kelly R. Hunter. She is another makeup person.
Okay.
Gives you the name of one of the other models that she's not necessarily associated with. She does more of the ground level, does a whole bunch of different people, but is in talks with becoming being moved over to Evo to help out with one of their changeling models.
Oh.
But yes,
So
this is Amy Jackson in the backseat of your cab.
excellent. That's great. So since that's her there, my other 2 questions are going to be I'm not sure how to word it quite right, but I will come up with one if you want. But so what does the model do like for fun? Like I mean, obviously you ladies are like handlers. I mean, I don't want to use that term necessarily, but you guys are the handlers for how they do and make everything work. What do they do when you guys like aren't around? Do they even get time for that?
They'll give you a very corporate answer of how much they enjoy their job and the opportunities that are presented to them by working for a subsidiary one step out of a top 10 mega. Kelly will give you it kind of depends upon who I was working with at the event and where we are. When we were down in the Caribbean, it was mostly on a boat, so we had full reign to do kind of whatever we wanted. Most of the time the models didn't interact with the other people because they are other people on there just taking a vacation. It just so happened to be that the fashion show was going on. They don't always like to go out and mingle. You will catch Amy kind of rolling her eyes, and it's like, I unfortunately usually get stuck cleaning up the mess after a night of partying. It's a shame because I'm never invited, but I just have to you know make sure they look nice the next morning.
So they don't really go out and party too much. They have like those after parties and stuff then, I'm guessing. Where do they I don't expect you to tell me where it's gonna be. I'm not asking. But the next Joe that gets in here and tells me he wants to know the great place to find the parties at 2 o'clock in the morning, where could I tell them to go check out so that that way, I can maybe get some extra tips off of them. And I'm totally trying to see if I can get him to tell me where some of those places where that kind of stuff has happened at. I got to clean up this mess. Where'd the mess happen?
They're gonna kind of look at each other and give a little shrug. It's like, well, we've actually never been to Seattle before, so if you had some ideas on places, that could be fun for at least the staff, not necessarily the models.
Oh, for sure, definitely. I've got quite a few places actually. Um,
As you roll Seattle area knowledge, I'm sure.
oh yeah, no, I which I have just a little in. Do you want bars and clubs or area knowledge specifically?
Bars and clubs, since that is what you are. You can roll either, or um, depends on what you're trying to sell to them.
Well, if you ladies are just looking for, a place to drink, I got a whole bunch of places I
Whew,
can tell you about for bars and clubs.
that's a lot
But
of bars and clubs.
if you're a little more interested in just like things to do around Seattle, the place for after parties I always heard about was not anywhere near as much. But there's still quite a few places you can go out and do things with. Stay out of Redmond though. I don't care what they tell you. Terrible place to party.
They'll kind of, giggle like, well, thank you very much. We will pass along some of this information as we do to some of the other people. And it's, right about the time you pull up outside of the park plaza. Um, I
Yeah.
assume you get out and help them to unload their stuff.
Oh, definitively. I'd give them like whatever the modern day equivalent of the business card is. If you ladies need a ride later, I'm on shift till about 4 p.m. or 4 a.m. So give me a call if you need anything.
The
Um,
the doorman is going to shoot you a look like somebody's doing something they're not supposed to. This is against cabbie etiquette.
no, it's not. Cabbies totally give out freaking, I'm on tour this far, you want return fare, come back and get me. That's your average hack. It's
Right, but
not
it's one of those
doing it.
things of like usually outside of large hotels there are lines of cabbies lined up, and
Oh,
trying
oh
to
yeah.
to jump that line is what he's kind of giving you the eyeball
It's
about.
rude.
Oh, oh, well, I would have probably given that to him earlier,
No,
How does
really,
he
as
that's
soon
even
as I
know?
mentioned that, but
because he's having a conversation with them.
oh yeah.
Yeah, and the
Oh, I
doorman
thought
is
you were in
out there.
conversation. I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
thought you were
he's not
talking
in
to
like
the
a D.
ladies.
He's not in a D&I call with the ladies.
Oh,
No,
okay, never mind. Never
no.
mind. Never mind. Never mind.
Um, but he will take their bags the rest of the way as you unload them out of your trunk. Um, is there anything else you want to do with them, or shall we?
I believe the parting line is going to be, although if you really want the best place to go and give them, I don't have a name off the top of my head, but the name of a bar that I happen to know pretty well, I just can't think of a good one off the top of my head. Go to Moe's.
And don't forget, eat at Joe's.
Psst, psst.
That's all I got for him though, is tell him to
Oh,
go to Moe's.
did something happen?
I think we might have lost Rob.
Oh,
Somehow I got muted in there. I don't know how it happened, but
okay.
what are you guys now up to?
Um, I'm sure we all had a meeting place after the fact, right?
At the very least, you have the place where you met up previously.
If anything, it sounds like we might need to do, and might have to go into the hotel and take him out because she sounds like she doesn't get out unless she actually, skirts that line pretty heavily.
Yeah.
I think we might need to do a social info, guys. What you all thinking?
It's probably good. Did we get anything, or was it deemed that we couldn't get blueprints for the building?
I will look it up.
You haven't looked
Okay.
for it yet.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. I thought
so-
we did.
I'm going to do a data heaven search to find locations where I can get that pretty quickly.
Sure.
Yeah, where we can get in, where we can get out of, how much security it actually has, what type of security it has.
Well,
Unless you
if I
saw
got
it
that,
while you
if
were
I got
doing
that
this
from
stuff.
the itinerary, I would have gave it to you. If not, then I had to go back in, but I can't do that now. So
Oh, no problem.
4 successes.
I didn't know if he wrote every little thing on here, so.
That's fine.
4 successes with your.
Looking for data havens, essentially. It's just like trying to find the information to see if they actually have that available for everyone to see, or is under a black book where no one can see it, a black box where no one can see the blueprints.
You can find what it once was at the very least. Recent modifications, notwithstanding, of course.
Mhm.
But for a large building like this, it probably does not change very often.
Mhm.
The ground floor is mostly the lobby and a restaurant, which is not like a exterior walk-in restaurant, but one that is. You obviously have room service, and while you have room service, you might as well have a restaurant because you have to have a kitchen on site anyway.
Mhm.
So it's a couple of chairs to basically get room service down in the lobby area that people coming and going can go and eat at.
Definitely.
The rest of the lobby is kind of broken up into some elevators, and there's a bunch of employee areas. Things like the valet office would be back there for people who valet parked.
How many floors is it?
Many? I have no
A
idea.
lot. Sure.
Yeah, I have no idea how
Something
many
that's irrelevant.
floors. Yeah, like 20, 25 probably.
She's on a higher floor.
Uh, let's make a random dice roll here. She's on the 16th floor.
Okay.
The first 3 floors are kind of not exactly floors because there's going to be the large auditorium area where the actual fashion show is going to be taking place. So like for the first 3 floors, it's a lot of ground seating, and then kind of like second floor seating to get around to see things, and then third floor is a lot of the lights, mechanic, industrial aspect of things, and then some behind the scenes stagehand areas back there.
And the actual show's taking place on what floor?
So like the stage is on like the first floor, but they will have a larger projection up in AR of what is going on the little runway.
Right. Annoying. Okay.
So,
Go ahead.
has
trying to-
anyone else? Yeah, just does anyone else really want to? Anyone else really want to do anything with this hotel at this point in time? Because it sounds like I think we might need to do a social infill on the girl.
That's kind of what it sounded like. I have no problems hanging out as
Mhm.
reasonable as a cabbie to try to keep eyes on the place for a bit, but I can't do a whole lot past that. And having already been ID'd here multiple times as the cabbie, I'm not going to be able to necessarily sneak in that way. You know, we can do it elsewhere though.
How do you feel about cutting your hair?
What for?
Well, we can definitely make you look like someone else.
Of course. Good.
I don't think some. Well, he's gonna stop for a minute and like scratch his chin and go, eh.
We'd have to
The game
broadcast
is
a different
strong,
sin.
but I don't think the game is strong enough to pick up on an elf woman at my age.
Well, we can definitely. You know what? I'm probably going to take I probably will look through the deep net to see if I can find any of the information of her that's not been scrubbed by Horizon. And I could probably take a couple of psychology looks into it and see what kind of things will be great for her to at least either we can attempt to do for her, or we can kind of basically neg the fuck out of her to make her happy to see you.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of negging, my friend?
Oh,
Can't say that I
God.
have.
Yes, I've heard.
I cannot say that I have.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, you you put a girl down and then give her a compliment so she likes you. It's not fun.
Oh, I've never heard it called that before.
Well, we could definitely take a look into her psychology to see what we can actually do with her. But the way it sounds like she has some, either some high pedestal, like high pedestal thought process where she absolutely has to be put in a high pedestal. If someone were to either dog her or bring her down, she'll probably would do everything possible to make herself feel better. Or potentially, is that she giving off this whole entire? She's giving off this as a ruse to actually let someone actually feel better about her, to make her
And
actually feel a little bit more wanted instead of keeping everyone against her.
and the question with that is though, is how are we gonna put someone in a situation where we can take advantage of this in the first place? We have established that she apparently parties, but she doesn't go out and mingle to party. So
Do you think they're going to be having a get together or party in the hotel somewhere?
I potentially could think so. Either that, or she's
I
going to be
would
starting drinking
assume.
at the bar, or she's going to be at the bar.
that would be
Yeah.
more my thought, yeah.
Or potentially, we can probably get the nice fly spy into one of the rooms. Hopefully, and I don't know whether or not those things are actually been painted with so much with noise material that can actually make you lose the drone. But who knows?
Right.
Either way, it sounds like I either got to get this person here or she's got to get out.
Yeah, I don't know how we're extracting from the 16th floor.
Yeah,
Very carefully.
I don't think extracting her from the 16th floor is going to be
Nope.
practical.
Haven't you ever seen The Dark
That-
Knight? It's
Get
totally
a
a
lot
big
more
thing.
money to do something like that. I was gonna-
Last,
So, oh man, I don't know.
No.
so here's the thing. I think not a lot of us are socialites. You are probably the closest one. We can definitely change you up to make you look like someone else.
Okay.
I mean, after all, this red hair is not exactly what I would call my natural color.
Really? But
Yes.
yeah.
No.
And to tell you the truth, that she actually will, at this point in time, would actually take, like a piece of makeup remover and actually remove it a part of her face. Trust me, the skin could use a little bit more help on this one. We can definitely help you in disguise roles, my friend, to make you at least look like someone else.
Okay. So we can do that. We can dress me up real nice.
Mhm.
And we're gonna build a psych profile on this Catherine here. And then I'm supposed to sweet talk her back to her hotel room?
Well, potentially you might make her fall asleep if you need to. I mean, how are you with drugs per se?
Yep. You
Uh
can slip something.
I
in
love
her
'em.
drink.
yeah, no. I don't actually know a whole lot about drugs, to be honest.
Who earlier said they could put people to sleep? Is that or who
That
said
was
that?
Stoner.
That's me. I can
Okay,
either use
how?
a spell to do it, and I've also got trauma or
So
patches.
if this is what we're going with, potential thing is talk her up. Everybody sees you doing such a thing. Maybe she has too much to drink. You carry her back up to her room. She doesn't have any bodyguards. And from there, you can do something.
We can definitely
Well,
take a look
got
at everything
another
enslaved to
thought.
her.
That,
Go
that,
ahead.
that, that is only part of a plan there, friend.
I'm aware.
Well,
Here's a
It
question.
is the
Here's a
beginning
crazy
part
silly thought.
of the friend.
If she orders room service, we could hit the room service guy on his way up, replace him, and when she answers the door, knock her out, stick her underneath the cart, take that down to the basement, and then put her in a duffel bag and carry her out the back.
We could definitely do that.
That actually might work because I'm sitting here thinking, with the talk her up and get her to go back to the room. What if she bats for the other team?
That was already a concern I had earlier.
Well,
Is
the idea wasn't talking her up. It was gonna put her to sleep. But this might work better.
well, either way, I think what we're thinking is we're gonna have to send someone in that can do some fancy talking,
Yep.
and try and talk her in through the process. if she does not go for the other team, or maybe she don't like dog meat, then we may have all kinds of problems.
I think the room service idea would work, though.
That's not a bad thought.
I'm fine with the room service idea.
We'll
We
just,
just put
put a hat on the cabbie.
Well, good, 'cause we
Well,
got
I can change anybody's clothing to look like the hotel uniforms.
right.
So basically, we just need to get in. So we'll just take a picture of the. We'll take a picture of the what's it called, the room service guys, and
Well,
you can
whoever
instantaneous it.
Knock her out would be the best.
Well, heck, if we know when she's in her room, we could get one guy standing with the room service cart, the other guy's in the hallway. Just knock on the door and tell her it's complimentary.
Yep. I would assume
Tell
we
her
have to do
that
or you
Amy
push
Jackson
through
had
a,
it set up or something
Mhm.
to get her started on the party a little early. And when she opens the door, we just all go in, clear out anybody who happens to be in there with her, tuck her underneath, and we all go. That way there's more of us, and just in case
Sounds kind of
she
like
has
a
a
plan.
bodyguard or a boyfriend or a girlfriend or something.
Sounds
Understood.
Like
I'll
So-
stay outside at this point in time. At this point in time, you basically would see Crane's going to think about the data tab she has on her back home. We can definitely do that.
If at all possible, I'm going to task one of my fly spies to to get into the hotel room that our target's in, hide and follow her, and have one stationed in the hallway outside to follow her if she goes anywhere.
Sure, we're gonna need some dice roll. Are you piloting it, or is it going on brain?
It would be rolling on autosofts.
So that's what you're gonna want to do.
Yeah. So let's see. So need to so it would be pilot plus the rating of the evasion autosoft.
Stealth for sneaking, or pilot plus maneuvering to fly.
how much weight does a grappling hook hold?
I think it
10
depends upon
kilograms.
the string that you have in it. I believe
Okay.
it's standard of
Standard's 200 kilograms.
yeah.
Let me check something. You could talk while I check.
Yeah. So I moved some of the note stuff out of the way. If you guys want to kind of write out a plan in there, so that we know exactly what we're getting into, we can give that a little troubleshooting. And
Yeah.
Does the itinerary actually have?
So it's enough. Okay.
There's a DNI back to Stoner saying whatever information I got from the itinerary you're going to have at this point in time. So should have some of the information. At least some of the people that's going to help her out. There's information about Eric C. Sullivan. Get all that sorts of jazz. Like I said, I don't want to go back into the hotel until these. I'm feeling kind of exhausted right now, and I know they're upping their security at this point in time. I feel like I would probably need at least a day before going back in.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I'm not opposed to letting you get some rest in that fashion if that's what you feel you need to do. Because I can't think of anything else particularly we would require your particular skill set for at this exact moment in time.
Right. If someone actually were to go into the hotel and actually take a look around to see if they can actually do that, take a couple of pictures of the hotel employees. That'll be great. That'll probably
Okay.
help too.
Seems fine.
Even though we are planning on trying to disguise me, if we're gonna have me try and do the social infiltration part of it, I would not suggest sending me in to try to scope the place out and then come back in later, even if it is in disguise.
I'm fine with that, but who's able to do that?
I can I mean, if it's walking around taking little snapshots, but yeah,
All right. Stygian, can you do that, please?
yes.
Stoner, Psych, do you guys want to do anything else other than, and I think Psych is already telling us that he's doing the, she is doing the whole fly spy movement?
Yeah, I'm just figuring out which dice I need to roll.
Okay.
If you have the rating 6 auto swaps, it would be 9 dice to pilot them.
All right, I think I threw what may pass for a plan thrown up in bullet points. If you guys take a look, see anything that we're forgetting.
The fake sins have a picture associated with them.
If you hit them with a sin scanner, they would.
Okay.
But the general broadcast thing, no.
Right.
It's a string of letters and numbers.
So it doesn't matter. Okay, so that doesn't matter. I can go in as is. I was thinking if I needed those guys, but
Crane is going to buy a couple of fake tags and look for industrious.
Sure.
Does somebody have like tag eraser and jammers? You said.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so we can bring them with us. And
Here's yeah.
Could
What I
anybody have a
here's-
Faraday cage anywhere?
That is rather large and big to
yes,
hold on.
I don't even have that.
Well, I know some people have them in their vans.
Fair enough. Tag erasers.
I do not, unfortunately.
You guys do have time, days, and
Yes.
money, so you can do a lot of things.
Right.
Because it is only Thursday evening.
Yeah, it's like 7-ish, 8-ish p.m., somewhere in that range.
Yep.
Mhm.
Are you staying on cabbie duty until 4 a.m. like you mentioned?
I am going to be staying on cabbie duty probably close to 4 a.m., and then I'm going to be sleeping until later on in the afternoon. I don't think I can do much to help at the beginning of the fashion show is the only reason why. If we come up with any ideas between now and like 2 o'clock in the morning, I'll probably end up going to bed, but
And what is what is the cabbie stuff that you are doing during that time?
basically pulling up to a location like, a bar or in this case the hotel here, getting in line, hanging out, waiting, probably chatting with the folks across D&I and stuff like that as I help try to plan with things and maybe play a couple of games in AR and oh hey look someone got in, drive them where they need to go and come back.
So if you could roll me one more edge test, and we'll see how your night goes.
Or
So with 4 hits on your edge test, as you come up in line to be the next cabbie, you will see a man that makes your skin crawl come out. He has slicked back hair. He is talking on a comlink. He has some dark sunglasses that he is wearing late at night. His suit is immaculately tailored. His shoes reflect the light from the overhanging balcony, and he's gonna stand impatiently outside your cabbie door.
I will hop out and open the door for this guy and be sure not to comment about the profound smell of summer's eve.
So he's gonna get in, not make the motion to talk to you, but he is going to shoot you an address.
Okay.
The address is in Touristville.
All right. Well, I'm gonna turn on my internal camera system and flip, which is right next to the meter button, and go ahead and start driving.
Right. And as you drive off into the night, that sounds like a good time to take a quick break. And
Okay.
we will be back shortly.